Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Scorebook Stories. I'm Alec. It is a great time in baseball right now. The Little League World Series is underway officially. A couple games have already passed. It kicked off this past Wednesday. Very excited for a lot of these Little Leaguers. The Great Lakes region is going to be represented by a Little League from Illinois. Metro is from Connecticut. Mid-Atlantic was represented by a team in Pennsylvania. Midwest, South Dakota. The Mountain region is Las Vegas, Nevada. New England is from Massachusetts. Northwest Little League is from Washington. The Southeast is represented by South Carolina. The Southwest is represented by Texas, and the West is represented by Hawaii, which is awesome. Congratulations to all these little leagues that have put in a lot of work, and a lot of these kids are working really, really hard to make it to this point. That's absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, some teams have already been eliminated in the United States and the international bracket. In the international side of things, Asia Pacific is represented by Chinese Taipei. Australia is represented by a little league from Queensland. Canada is represented by a team from Vancouver, British Columbia. The Caribbean is from Santa Cruz, Aruba. Europe, Africa is being represented by a team from the Czech Republic. Japan is from Tokyo. The league's from Tokyo this year. Latin America is being represented by Venezuela. Mexico is from Chihuahua, Mexico. Panama is being represented by Arawan, Origin, Panama. I believe I said that incorrectly. I apologize. And Puerto Rico has a team there as well from Yabucoa. Yabucoa. I'm sorry. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But either way, these kids worked really, really hard to get to this point, and it's always so much fun to watch Little League Baseball in Williamsport. Luckily, I don't live all that far from it, so I am going to try to go out there, hopefully before the tournament ends, and watch some of this awesome baseball be played. It will be coming to a conclusion next weekend. So by the time we record another episode of Scorebook Stories, we will know who the winner of the Little League World Series is going to be. It's going to be awesome. Stay up to date on everything you can for the Little League World Series. It's going to be so much fun. And even tonight is the MLB Little League Classic between the Seattle Mariners and the New York Mets. It's going to be a good game. I think Seattle's going to be able to come away with a win over the Mets. The Mets have been looking a little bit better as of late, but I still think Seattle's in a position where they're going to be able to take control of the game and get some wins, especially since they're not very far out of first place. But continuing on with the Little League World Series, the Southeast, in my opinion, is the team to watch in the United States side of the bracket. They are currently undefeated. They won their first game over New England 13-0. They're going to be playing the Mountain Division coming up tomorrow on the 18th. And it's going to be a good game. The Mountain Division won their first game 16-0, their second game 5-3. So they're going to be taking on the Mountain Division. The Southeast versus Mountain is going to be a good game, I think. But I still believe the Southeast is probably going to be the team to watch out of the U.S. side of things. Also, the Metro will be taking on the Midwest region tomorrow. That's going to be a very good game as well. Metro beat the West 5-1, and they beat Southwest 1-0. Midwest took out the Mid-Atlantic team from Pennsylvania 2-0 to advance to this spot. It's going to be a tough game, I think. But down in the elimination bracket, every team that loses their first game goes down to the elimination bracket. And today, the Northwest eliminated New England after New England eliminated the Southwest by a score of 7-3. Northwest won 3-2 and advanced. They are going to take on the loser of Metro versus the Midwest to try to advance and get themselves to the finals here. And then the West defeated Great Lakes 9-1 to advance, and they are going to take on the loser of the Southeast versus the Mountain Division. double elimination tournament style. It's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to some of these games, especially these games tomorrow with the winners bracket teams. And on the international side, Japan definitely is going to be pretty much the international team to watch. They seem to always be that team. They are very, very dominant team. They won their first game 12-0 over Europe, Africa, and they're going to take on Latin America tomorrow. Over on the other side of the winners bracket is the Caribbean taking on Asia Pacific. That's going to be a tight game as well. Caribbean beat Panama 8-2, and Asia Pacific beat Mexico 3-0. I'm looking forward to that one a lot. Also today, Canada knocked out Australia 12-0 to advance, and Mexico won in a nail biter 2-1 over Panama. And Canada is going to take on the loser of Caribbean versus Asia Pacific, and Mexico is going to take on the loser of Japan versus Latin America. We're going to see, like I said, Japan always seems to be a solid team. They always come over. They know the fundamentals of baseball. They got a lot of guys on their team that hit for average. They get on base. They make smart decisions in the field. Japan is always a very well-coached Little League team, and it's always very impressive to watch them come over and play teams from around the world. It's always super special and very, very impressive to watch, in my opinion. But moving over to the MLB news, like we said, we have the Little League Classic tonight. It is going to be Seattle versus the New York Mets. I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a tight game, I think. Like I said, the Mets have been playing a little bit better than in previous weeks, but they still are kind of struggling, it seems. They're really not all the way in, I guess you could say, on getting back on track for where they were when they started the season. But right now, the pretty much looking at like the odds and everything is pretty much right down the middle. This game is going to be a tight one. Clay Holmes is going to be starting for the Mets, taking on George Kirby. Both of them have very similar records, very similar ERAs. Kirby has a few less innings pitched, but overall, it's going to be a good game, in my opinion. Cal Raleigh's got 46 home runs. Juan Soto has reached the 30 mark. I don't know who I could call to win this game right now. I really don't. I think Seattle definitely has the advantage, I will say. Seattle won the first game in the series. The Mets won the second game. Tonight is the third. It's going to be tight the whole way through. I genuinely believe it. And one thing I do want to mention about the Little League Classic is I think that the MLB should do something to kind of spice this up a little bit. I think that the teams should wear the region uniform that they are in. So Seattle, they're in the Northwest region. I think that's the region that they would be in, is the Northwest, right? I don't remember. Either way, I think that the Seattle Mariners should be wearing the Northwest region uniforms on the field for this game, and the Mets should be wearing the Metro uniform, because I believe the New York is in the Metro region for baseball. But I think that would be something that would be really cool. And then you also could add a second game, because this game's going to start at 7 p.m. tonight, or it may have already started. I'm not sure what time I'm going to get this episode uploaded for all of you to enjoy. But either way, they could invite teams from around the world as well and have a day game. So have the pro team from Australia come on over and play one of the NPB teams from Japan. And then the Japanese team's going to wear the Team Japan Little League jersey. The Australian team will wear the Australia jersey. A team from Canada could go. Like, I think stuff like that would be interesting, and it could be a lot of fun, especially for the Little League kids, because they'll be like, they're wearing our jersey on the field. I just think it's something that could make the Little League Classic a little just that much more special, even though it already is super special. And I would love to go to this game one year. It's such a great ballpark that it's in. historic Bowman Field. It's a beautiful place. Williamsport is a great atmosphere for these games. And just to see all the Little League kids just going absolutely nuts, having that one-on-one interaction with so many players, like this is genuinely one of the most special times in baseball, in my opinion. Stay up to date on everything going on in the sports world by heading over to Seven Mountain Sports on Facebook, Seven Mountain Sports on X, on Instagram. We are on all of your favorite platforms, and you do not want to miss out on a single thing going on here at Seven Mountain Sports. Something else that is very special in baseball and is really cool for me to watch as just a fan of the sport is when guys get called up to the majors. I think it's absolutely epic. And the Orioles are doing just that. They're calling up some of their top organizational prospects right now. The wait is finally over for two guys. Dylan Beavers, who is 24 years old, outfielder. He's going to the show. The Orioles selected his contract. He is the number 3 overall prospect in the organization per MLB Pipeline, and he is crushing the ball. He's playing pretty good baseball down in AAA. I can't wait to watch him play more at the MLB level. He's already made his debut at the major league level by the time you are watching this. But in 94 games down in AAA, Beavers hit 304, 420, 515 with 104 hits, 18 home runs, 68 walks, 76 Ks, 51 RBIs, and 23 stolen bases. He's a great ball player, plays really, really well. And the Orioles didn't stop there. They've also called up their number 1 ranked prospect, Samuel Basallo. Talked a little bit about him at the beginning of the season, kind of talking about some of the up-and-coming prospects that are very good and definitely have a future in getting called up this season specifically. And he was one of them. Basallo currently is hitting 270, 377 and 589 through minors so far, with 17 doubles, 23 home runs, and 67 RBIs in 76 games in AAA Norfolk this season. Since July 4th, though, he's hitting 310 with 9 doubles, 7 home runs, 29 RBIs, and a 1.050 OPS in just 20 games. That's unbelievable. That is so great. He's ready, it seems. It seems like he is definitely ready for his shot at the major league level. With Baltimore, in my opinion, pretty firmly out of the playoffs, I think they're going to start bringing up a lot of these younger guys just to see how they handle the big leagues and handle big league pitching, give them a little bit of a head start on development if they foresee these guys being big leaguers and being on the 26-man roster next season. Like if they're going to be staples in the lineup every single day moving forward, or by next season, by opening day, I don't see why you wouldn't call them up now. Just let them see some big league pitching and fast track that development a little bit. As long as you are confident that you will not tear down a player's confidence and break down their ability to play baseball, I don't see a problem with this. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. But the problem I see now is, what does this mean for Adley Rutschman or Kobe Mayo? Both of them are relatively young and they are pretty established at their positions. Samuel Basallo plays both of their positions, first base and catcher. Are you really going to bring up Samuel Basallo and next year just let him be Adley Rutschman's backup? Like, is that the plan? I don't necessarily think that's a great plan, especially because Basallo is such a solid ball player and he's a very reliable defensive catcher behind the plate as well. So now, do you move Adley Rutschman while he still has higher value and try to replace Samuel Basallo with somebody who's going to be in the MLB probably around 2030? I don't know if that's what the Orioles are going to try to do. I think Rutschman has kind of established himself as one of the faces of this new Baltimore Orioles, he has not had the greatest season so far, but I still think Adley Rutschman is one of the best catchers in the MLB today. And I don't really think there's much debate about that. I think the debate really is going to be where he falls in the top 10 as opposed to if he is a top 10. I definitely believe Adley Rutschman is a top 10 catcher in the MLB. I don't think there's really a debate for it. But with Basallo coming up, I do anticipate Adley Rutschman DHing a little bit more. I don't see him playing in a defensive role as frequently. Kobe Mayo could end up moving back to third base, and they give Rutschman and Basallo reps at first base just to get Basallo's bat in the lineup a little bit more frequently. I'm not exactly sure what their plan is going to be, but overall, I do think this is going to run them into a bit of an issue just deciding what they're going to do with personnel moving forward from after this offseason. Is Rutschman going to be the catcher? If he is, great. Basallo's probably going to play first, and Mayo's going to play third. That's probably going to be the plan. But at the same time, you could deal Rutschman and get some solid prospects for him. I still think he is worth at least 2 top 30 organizational prospects from some club out there that really would be dying for a franchise catcher. I think that's a move that could potentially be made. Another move was Ethan Holiday getting promoted to a full season team. He was just drafted, and now he is already on the move on up, which is unbelievable. It's incredible. He's a good ball player, real good young guy. Drafted, I think, when did he get drafted? 4th overall. Unbelievable. And he's already playing in A ball. Yeah, he got moved up to the single A affiliate of the Rockies, the Fresno Grizzlies, and he's doing pretty good. He's played 3 games, 11 at bats, 4 hits. He's hitting 364, no home runs yet, but he's got an RBI. He's got 2 doubles. Like, he's seeing the ball really well. He's only struck out 3 times, so once a game. That's not too bad for an 18-year-old kid. He's 18 playing single A baseball. Like, he got moved up from the complex league pretty quickly. I'm not sure exactly how fast he's going to go through the minors, but right now he is ranked in the top 20 for MLB Pipeline, and I think he's already in the top 10 for the Colorado Rockies organizationally, which is kind of next level, if you ask me. They see something in him. They trust him. They think he's playing confident, solid baseball. And as long as that's what's going to keep happening for Ethan Holiday, I wouldn't be all that shocked if we see him within the next 3 years. By the time he's 20, 21, at this rate, I'm expecting him to be an effective, efficient ball player for the Colorado Rockies. Do I think that's actually what's going to happen? No, I genuinely don't. I do not believe that is what the Rockies are going to do with him. I think they are going to try to give him a full season at Double-A next year, and he's just going to be a Double-A ball player all year long. And after that, depending on how he looks in Double-A next year, that's when he's going to play a full season of Triple-A ball. And unless he's hitting 310 plus in Triple-A as a 20-year-old, I think he's going to be a full season AAA player and even start the following season in AAA and then get called up. That's the road I'm predicting for Ethan Holiday. But you never know. Players progress slower or faster depending on the organization they're in and what that organization really wants them to focus on. Like, there was a lot of talk about Ethan Holiday moving to third base or even second base after he was drafted, depending on what team he got drafted to. So if that's something they want to implement, if they want to implement Holiday becoming a third baseman or a second baseman, he could be in the minors for even longer. But 7MM Sports is your hub for all things Seven Mountains Media Sports. You can watch the latest of Sports Talk with Steve Jones episodes. You can find what station you can listen to your favorite Penn State sports team on, and you can even get live social media updates all the time. All of these things are available along with every single show produced by Seven Mountains Sports over at 7mmsports.com. When we take a look at the standings for the MLB, things are getting really tight all over the place, especially when we take a look into the wild card rankings. So over in the East, Toronto still has a pretty commanding lead, 5 games over Boston at 73 and 51. Boston is 68 and 56. And they are 5 games back. The Yankees are 66 and 57, 6.5 games back. However, I do think they just wrapped up their game against St. Louis and won, so they're 67 and 57. But either way, these were calculated before first pitch today. Again, just a reminder for everybody, stats and standings are not at close of ball games on Sunday. It's before all the ball games start on Sunday. So the Yankees are 66 and 57, 6.5 games back. The Rays are 61 and 63, 12 games back. Baltimore is 56 and 67, 16.5 games out of first place. The Tigers have a lead in the Central 30 at 73 and 52. The Cleveland Guardians are 63 and 58. They are 8.5 games back. The Royals are 62 and 61, 10 games back of the Central. The Twins are 57 and 66, or 15 games out. The White Sox are 44 and 79, 28 games back. Out west, Houston has a lead, 69 and 54. Seattle is 1.5 games back at 68 and 56. The Rangers are 61 and 63 at 8.5 games out. LA Angels are 59 and 64. They're 10 games out. And the A's are 56 and 69, making them 14 games out of the division. But when we look at the American League wild card, Boston has a 1.5 game lead, tied with Seattle, also 1.5 game lead. Yankees are the final wild card team as of now. Cleveland is 2.5 games back, and the Royals are 4 games back. This is going to be a tight race. I think we're pretty much set right now with who most likely is going to be the divisional winners. Most of these divisions, except for the AL and NL West, are a pretty sizable gap, not unmanageable, but it's going to take really good baseball for an extended period of time and bad baseball for an extended period of time for those teams in front, like the Tigers, like the Brewers. That those type of teams are going to have to really struggle in order for the teams below them to catch them for the divisional race. So now it's really time to focus on who's going to squeak into a wild card spot. And that is really where the AL East is going to be huge. Boston, the Yankees, they are right there. They are the standard right now for the AL wild card. Boston being 1.5 up and the Yankees being the last team in. It's going to be tight, and they both need to play perfect baseball in order to get themselves into the playoffs, unless they think Toronto is just going to fall apart and the Blue Jays are going to fall out of the playoffs or fall down into the wild card spot, leaving the door open for the Red Sox or the Yankees to somehow take the division. Over in the National League, the Phillies have a lead in the East, 70 and 53. The Mets are behind them at 65 and 58, 5 games back. Miami is in third at 58 and 65, 12 games back. Atlanta's 55 and 68. They're 15 games out. Washington is 50 and 73. They are 20 games out. In the Central, the best team in baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers, are 78 and 44. The Cubs are 9 games back at 69 and 53. The Reds are 15 games out, 64 and 60. The Cardinals are 18 games out, 61 and 63. And the Pirates are 27 games out at 52 and 72. The Los Angeles Dodgers have the lead by 1 game at 70 and 43. San Diego's right behind them, 1 game out, 69 and 54. The Diamondbacks are 10.5 games out of the division at 60 and 64. The Giants really fell off. They're 11 games out at 59 and 64. And the Rockies still are trying to figure out how to play baseball, and they are 34 and 89, 36 games out of first place. That is disgusting. Anyway, over in the wild card race, the Cubs are 4.5 games up in the NL wild card. The Padres are 4 games up. The Mets are the last team in, with Cincinnati being 1.5 games behind the Mets, and the Cardinals are only 4.5 out from the Mets. So the Cardinals could still squeak themselves into the playoffs, but they are going to have to play some really, really good baseball, because Arizona's not too far out either. It's going to be a tight race, I think, for the NL wild card, with a bunch of these teams really seeming to struggle. But once we get into actual playoff time, it's probably going to be run by the Brewers and the Dodgers, with the Phillies and Mets being I don't want to call them a wild card team, because we have like actual wild card teams, but I think they're going to be the ones that make a mess of everything and throw off the easy prediction. Those are the two teams that I think are going to be the thorn in the side of analysts going into playoffs, assuming that all of these teams make the actual playoffs. So right now, your American League playoff postseason is going to include the Toronto Blue Jays, Detroit Tigers, Houston Astros, Boston Red Sox, Seattle Mariners, and New York Yankees if the season ends today. The National League would be the Philadelphia Phillies winning the East, the Brewers with the number 1 seed winning the Central, and the Dodgers winning the West, with the Cubs, Padres, and Mets getting in as wild card teams. Interesting play all across the board, and there is no game going on the rest of this year that will not matter. Everything for all these playoff teams is going to be very calculated. It's going to be intense, and it's going to be something you want to watch. Looking at our stat leaders, Aaron Judge leads the way in batting average, hitting .333. Jeremy Pena is hitting .315. Jonathan Aranda, .316. Jacob Wilson, .312. Will Smith, .306. Next week, I think I'm going to take Jonathan Aranda out because he's injured. I know that's not how stats work, but I may just pop him and Jacob Wilson out, because I think both of them are hurt right now. Either way, looking at hits, Bo Bichette has 151, Trey Turner 145, Manny Machado 139, Bobby Witt Jr. 138, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has 137 hits. Home runs, Cal Raleigh still leads the way with 46. Kyle Schwarber and Shohei Ohtani are right behind him at 43. Aaron Judge is 39, even though I saw he got the Barry Bonds treatment. He's getting intentionally walked. He's not even leading, but he's a dangerous home run hitter. Teams are going to do it. And Eugenio Suarez is in 5th with 38 home runs. Adding a batting stat to look at, RBIs. Kyle Schwarber has the lead in the MLB with 101. Pete Alonso has 100. Cal Raleigh also has 100. And Eugenio Suarez has 92. Aaron Judge has 91 RBIs this season. Looking at pitching, where we also added a stat, but we're going to start with ERA. Paul Skeens has still continued to maintain the lead in ERA with a 2.13. Unbelievable that his ERA is so low and his record is so bad. Either way, Tarek Skubal is behind him with a 2.42. Christopher Sanchez has a 2.45. Hunter Brown also with a 2.45. And Matthew Boyd has a 2.46. Strikeout leader, Zach Wheeler, 195. Tarek Skubal has 190. Garrett Crochet, 188. Dylan Cease, 171. Logan Webb rounds out the top 5 with 168. When it comes to wins, Freddie Peralta leads with 14. Garrett Crochet has 13, along with Max Fried. And a number of ball players have 12. Carlos Rodon, Nick Pavetta, Casey Mize, Joe Ryan, Brandon Fott, I think also has 12. There's a good amount of guys out there with 12 wins, which is our new stat added to the stats and standings. When it comes to saves, Robert Suarez leads the way still with 33. I believe he's been the saves leader all season long, I think. I'll have to go back and look at that, but he's been up there. I remember saying his name a lot. Carlos Estevez is right behind him with 31. Trevor McGill has 29. Andres Munoz has 29 as well. And Josh Hader is in 5th with 28. So now let's dive in to the pitcher and player of the week. The storied pitcher of the week this week, I'm giving it to Brandon Young from Baltimore. 1 game started this week, 8 innings pitched, 0.00 ERA, 6 strikeouts, no walks, 1 hit, no earned runs, 25 batters faced. He fell 4 outs short of a perfect game against the Astros. 4 outs. That is unbelievable. That is such a great performance. This would have been the 25th perfect game in history. And from what I can find, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, he would have been the first rookie to ever throw a perfect game. I feel bad for him, unfortunately, because he did fall short, but it was an unbelievable performance. And I think that this is a good sign for the Orioles organization that they have a young pitcher like Brandon Young that can do something like this and just go out and take over a game. I think it's incredible, and I think it's a great sign, and Oriole fans should be very excited about what this guy can develop into as a starting pitcher. And when we get over to the storied player of the week, I'm giving it to Christian Yelich. 5 games played, 21 at bats, 11 hits, 4 home runs, 6 runs scored, 12 RBIs, 2 walks, 3 Ks. Batting average over the last week was a .524. Yelich, he is the face of the Brewers right now, in my opinion. I think at this point in his career, I think he's probably planning on retiring as a Milwaukee Brewer. I said at the beginning of the season that this Brewers team is going to live and die by Christian Yelich and Rhys Hoskins. I genuinely believed that at the beginning of the year, and I think it is showing now because they are hot. The Brewers are the best team in baseball. They are a hot ball club, and Yelich is on fire. Hoskins is hitting better than he was last year by a pretty noticeable amount, and it's panning out. It is showing that the Brewers are a good ball club, and they are a dominant ball club, and they can win ball games and win a lot of them. It's impressive, and I think this whole team is coming together and performing at an incredible rate and an incredible pace. But I think Christian Yelich and Rhys Hoskins having successful years is a big part in the Brewers' success. The games to watch this upcoming week: Seattle at Philadelphia. It's going to be an intense series. Philadelphia cannot be content with the lead that they have in this divisional race, especially with Seattle making a hard push to win their division. Seattle is 1.5 games out. Yes, Philadelphia has a 5-game lead, but losing a 3-game set to Seattle, it's gone. It's gone. The Mets will close that gap quickly if the Phillies do not win this series. It's going to be tight, and it's going to be a great one to watch. The Yankees are on the road at the Rays. The Yankees are going to be pushing really hard to make the playoffs. They feel like they are in a very disappointing part of their season. As we all know, last week I kind of got a little heated about the Yankees because it is not what baseball fans everywhere are used to seeing from the New York Yankees. It is not traditional Yankee baseball. Even last year in the World Series, they made it there. It was great, but it was not good defense. It was very poor defense that led to them losing to the Dodgers last year. The defense is awful and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed. These guys are professional ball players. They need to be playing at a pace where defensively they should have no problems. Like it's not good. And with a series win against the Rays, that is going to help them advance up the standings and hopefully set them up for a solid run through the end of August and through September, that they will end the year with enough confidence in their ability as on defense. Hitting wise, the Yankees, I think, are fine. It is all about the defense. They need to find a way to rebuild that confidence and become a solid, sound defensive team, and they will find themselves in a wild card spot at the end of September. I also want everybody to keep eyes out on the Milwaukee Brewers versus the Chicago Cubs in Chicago. Two of the best teams in the MLB right now, fighting for the top spot in the NL Central. It's going to be an incredible series. It's going to be intense, and I think these guys are going to leave everything they got on the field through this series. So make sure that you are watching these incredible games and every other awesome baseball game, because why aren't they? And make sure that you tune in to the Little League World Series all week long. It's going to be so much fun to watch. These kids are incredible at playing baseball. They always do something super special, and it's just great to see the smiles on all their faces when they're out there on the biggest stage that they've ever been on to this point in their baseball playing career. It's awesome. So watch the Little League World Series, watch some MLB baseball, and just enjoy a wonderful week of America's pastime.